Did you know that if you kick a hallowed ogre's ass so hard, he'll just go back into his home? Haha, alright guys, what's going on gamers? This is DBMgamer here, and I have a Destiny news update. Rounding out a lot of the cool stuff that's going on within the Destiny communities. Bungie just released their weekly update, so I'll include that in here too. But I have to get to my shoutouts. My shoutouts is how I show appreciation back to the community that has gotten me this far. And I want to give shoutouts to Kalu the Apple, Aaron Wilson, Austin Knight, LeBron Johnson, David Kerwan, Nathan Lashley, and Suros Regime. Yeah guys, I'm not photoshopping that, that's actually truth. I gotta say, I do love crazy Destiny fans. So the video that you're watching here actually was one of the topics in the Bungie weekly update. They covered a couple of ingenious new ways to beat the Crotas in hard mode. Well, secrets out of the bag guys, this is actually how my team has been beating the Crotas hard mode. We've been trying it out for this last week, and I gotta say it's a very successful tactic. It boils down to, basically you've got to have two Titans in your group to be able to pull this off. But with two Titans in the group, you basically just run up to the top of the steps, you drop down two bubbles, giving your team plenty of cover to actually get rockets off, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to deal with the boomers. All you ever have to deal with is a few adds. Now after the rotation you will run into the ogre coming out of the door, because that is one of the rooms that you'll run in and hide. But as you see, it's pretty easy to deal with if everybody's concentrating on him. I would not recommend firing rockets because you can actually kill yourself if somebody's strafing in front of you, so I would just stick to special weapons and supers to drop that ogre. And then from there it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, you just knock out your last ogre, get your other sword bearer down, and rinse repeat. It's a really straightforward tactic, very simple. I highly recommend it to anybody. This even works on the normal raid as well. Now another thing that was addressed in the weekly update was the issue about heavy ammo. Now everybody knows there's a small glitch that once you die you actually lose about half of your heavy ammo, and that sucks. So Bungie's looking into trying to fix that. Now it turns out, I thought this was just an issue with how the game worked, you know, sort of a penalty for dying, but it turns out it's actually just a simple glitch. So they're actually working on dropping a patch possibly by the middle to end of February that's going to fix this. But that's not all. They're also working on an issue of vault space, and I gotta say, this is one of my big issues. I have like almost no vault space. I'm doing a lot of pack muling with my characters, putting gear on, taking gear off, picking up weapons, putting down weapons, just to free up a little bit of room in the vault so that I can rotate stuff around. But Bungie says that they are aware of it, they're working on the feature, so just stay tuned for that update. And that was it. That was all Deej had to say. So I'm going to add a few little tidbits that he didn't mention. Now first and foremost, if you're familiar with a brand new game that just came out, Dying Light, they actually have a loot cave or a loot cave tribute in Dying Light. Now I'll link the video here and also in the description box if you want to check it out. But here's a screenshot of the goods. All it is you get to a cave and you'll read this simple little message that comes across the screen. Your destiny is to build your legend and get loot. And that was it. But I thought it was a cute little tribute, and it just shows that the guys that created Dying Light are also kind of Destiny fans themselves. Now another issue that's near and dear to my heart is how you upgrade exotics. Personally, I'm kind of not thrilled with how they're doing it, where you have to reset all the progress that you've made on your exotics. And Bungie themselves also see this as a mistake. So let me just read you something from Luke Smith, the lead raid designer. Nothing specific to announce at this time, but the mistakes we made with DLC 1 reward economy will not be repeated. Mistakes like vendor gear invalidating effort of Vault of Glass raiders, upgrading an exotic, resetting its talents. Our philosophy about reward and loot continues to evolve as we see how players react. We will continue to improve acquisition stories and frequency. My understanding of the perception is that Crota's End drop rates are much improved versus the Vault of Glass. Now this lessens the grind and gets players to the fun parts of Destiny. We sat down and talked about the rewards for Vault of Glass and the rates versus Crota's End, and ended up with the following increased drop rates globally in Crota's End we wanted. Dedicated players to be around 32 or real close by the time the hard mode came out. Increase the variability of perks that a given piece of gear can have. The goal here was that players would reach 32 easier than 30, but will have more customization and options to build the perfect set in terms of stats, perks, and weapon affinities. The part where this didn't work as well as we hoped was in the shard economy. Shards are kind of like a barrier between you and equipping a sweet new piece of gear. We want fewer barriers to equipping upgrades. The shared economies erect these barriers between players and their new piece of gear they just got. We're not intending to adjust the shard economy for this tier, but we don't want to invalidate player effort again. But removing the barrier between that new drop that you're excited to get and actually being able to get it and equip it as a member of your arsenal is something that we're going to be doing going forward. So the two exciting bits for me that were in this were obviously the vendor gear pretty much knocking out everything that you've done from Vault of Glass. So that's an issue that they're not going to repeat. And then secondly, the upgrading an exotic and resetting its talents. Because yeah guys, I spent a lot of my time just basically re-leveling all of the exotics that I've pulled over the time frame that I've played Destiny. And that's a lot of time. So when the House of Wolves DLC comes out, they probably are going to drop a patch that will make your fully upgraded exotics just increase to the next level. Kind of like what they did with the Vex Mythoclast when that patch dropped, upgrading its maximum damage from 300 to I think 323. So lastly, for a bit of fun, I posted in a few communities, who do you think would win in a super fight between Atheon and Crota? In most places that I put this poll up, it seemed like most of the voting was 40 to 60 in favor of Crota. And I gotta say guys, I think that's a bum rap. I think Atheon could totally take Crota down. Why do I think that? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that when these two meet, Crota would give an evil stare to Atheon, and Atheon would just snap his fingers, call up an oracle, and write Crota out of existence. And one very last thing was I gotta give a shout out to my Google Plus Destiny community for actually just passing 10,000 members. So guys, if you're looking for a place to discuss Destiny, can't really recommend a much better place than, you know, Google Plus. Like I said, we just passed 10,000 members. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people in there. I'm in there pretty frequently as well myself. So if you're looking for a place to chat it up, this is what I would recommend. Alright guys, if you like this type of content, just hit the like button or leave a comment on what you think would go down in the super fight between Atheon and Crota, or just hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. But as always guys, have a good one.